What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. I got a basketball one for y'all today. Let's get into it. So, I was on X, formerly known as Twitter, looking at a few posts, and this one right here came up, which got me thinking. On the post, the question was posed: how many championships would this team win? Basically, what we have here is the 96 through 98 Bulls, but instead of Michael Jordan playing on the team, if you subbed out Michael Jordan, we're in fantasy land here, and LeBron James instead was on the Bulls during that run with Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen from 96 through 98, how many titles would they win? Now, we know MJ, they went 3 for 3, three-peated. Not only did they three-peat, but they also went 72-10 in that 96 season, which at the time was the greatest regular season record of all time. Still, in my opinion, the greatest season of all time, because they capped it off with a championship, unlike the Warriors, who went 73-9 in 2016. The Bulls sealed the deal. So, great year. And there's always this conversation. Obviously, this is coming up because there's always the conversation that's posed: who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Who's the greatest of all time? Now, I've always been one for several years, before this conversation was even a hot topic. I felt LeBron was worthy of the conversation, and I could see it going either way. As far as just a basketball player is concerned, it's close. Now, me personally, if I had to pick, I think maybe I would lean slightly to Michael Jordan. That being said, one of the things that's always the argument that leans towards Mike's favor the most is championships. Mike got 6. He was 6 for 6. During this stretch with Rodman and Pippen, he won 3 in a row. King James hasn't done that. No getting around it. But do we just count championships? Who knows? But with this picture, what I will say, what poses this question, whether you think LeBron is better or Mike is better, if you're asking me, how many championships would they have won 96 through 98 if LeBron James was on the team? I have no argument I can make in my head with any sort of logic that tells me they wouldn't win 3 championships. 3. That's what I'm going with based on this squad. You telling me I got Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest defenders of all time, the best rebounder in the league at the time. Scottie Pippen, maybe the best one-on-one defender in the league at the time, and a top 5, in my opinion, like on the all-defensive team, I would put Scottie on it. Scottie can guard 1 through 4 easy. Now, we know LeBron James can also guard 1 through 5. Let's say this is the LeBron James from the Cleveland Cavaliers' second stint. I won't go with young LeBron James. I won't go the Miami Heat version. I'm going to go with the Cleveland version, since this wasn't MJ in the first three-peat when he was a little younger, a little more spry. I'm going to go with that LeBron James. That LeBron James was still a freak athlete, but he was even more polished mentally, had a bigger understanding for the game. That LeBron James with those 2 players, and you've got Steve Kerr on the team, Tony Kukoc, and a few other shooters. Remember, LeBron James, the best teams that ever been put around him, you put shooters around him because he's going to orchestrate the offense. Now, Scottie Pippen used to do a lot of that in order to allow MJ to flourish. Scottie ran the 1 a lot of times, and MJ was on attack mode. But we know in those years, Michael was averaging around 28, 29, maybe 30 a game. Around about what LeBron was giving you during his time in Cleveland. Close enough. LeBron gonna get you the buckets. In my opinion, during that time, he would have been the best basketball player in the world. They playing the Supersonics. I don't know that they go 72-10 that year in 96, but I do feel they would make the playoffs and they would beat everybody in the East in a series, more games than they get beat. They'd end up playing the Sonics. And while Gary Payton said that year he felt like if he had switched on to Garden Jordan earlier, this is his perspective now, that series could have went a little different. Now, I still think they'd have lost regardless. But it doesn't really matter because, truthfully, it's a situation with, I would say, Gary Payton wouldn't have been able, in no stretch of the imagination, to be able to deal with LeBron James. He ain't switching on to no LeBron James. That's just not happening. So they would have lost. They would have had no answer for LeBron James. He'd have been the best player on the floor. Like I said, he's the best player in the league at that time, in my opinion. Even with Shaquille O'Neal in the league, Olajuwon was starting to lose a step. You know, Michael isn't in the league. Remember, this is LeBron James instead of Michael Jordan. He'd be the best player in the league, in my opinion. Against the Utah Jazz, same thing. They'd have no answer for him. And you're surrounding LeBron James with shooters, 2 all-stars, all defensive team. I mean, they switching on everything. Ron Harper, Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, Dennis Rodman. You could probably put Kukoc in and play LeBron at the 5 in certain spots because he could guard the likes of like the center that was playing for the, I think his name was last name Johnson, that played for the Sonics, or the guy that was playing, was it Ostertag? I can't remember right now off the top of my head, that played for the Utah Jazz. But LeBron in a pinch, I'm talking about in stretches, that 5-man lineup with Kukoc in there and Ron Harper helping him to D up, or you have Kerr in there for 3-pointers. So it's hard to say how it goes, how many games the series goes, but again, I got 3 championships. I can't see how they wouldn't win 3. I can't see no team beating them. And I could go into more detail about the first 3-peat, but again, the same thing. You put LeBron on that team, let's say a younger LeBron, the LeBron from the Miami Heat days. That LeBron on that Bulls team of the first 3-peat with Scottie Pippen and even more shooters, B.J. Armstrong, Craig Hodges, John Paxson, tons of shooters. Horace Grant, who can hit an open bucket for you and get you 15. It's him and Scottie. And LeBron, again, would be the best player in the world at that time. That LeBron James, that version of him. He's better than Barkley, better than Malone. He'd be better than really everybody that's in the league at that point in time. He'd have been the best player on the floor against Magic in the 91 series. So you put LeBron on that team, that Bulls team, he has 6 championships in my personal opinion. Can you find an argument for why he wouldn't? I mean, really. Not hating, being constructive about it, constructive criticism only. Now, the flip side is, well, yeah, Jordan, if he was in this area on LeBron's teams, he'd have done the same thing or more. Maybe. I don't know. But we always give Mike the argument about the 6 chips, and I'm just saying if you sub in LeBron for Mike, with those, everything else is the same. Phil Jackson's the coach. I see 6 championships, 6 for 6. Now, LeBron, he went to the title in 2007. I don't know if Michael could have carried the Cavs in 07 to the championship, but let's just say he did. Even if he was averaging 40 in that series, maybe they don't get swept. I don't see them beating the Spurs in 07. And the one knock against LeBron. I think MJ on that team in Miami when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks, I could see MJ finding a way to pull that out with D-Wade and Chris Bosh. I don't think Mike gets the W against San Antonio in 2014, but we'll never know. But I could see that being a tough one because that San Antonio team's better than any squad, in my opinion, that Mike played during his day in the championship round. If he loses Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love in 2015 and he's on the team instead of LeBron James, I don't got them beating the Warriors. Not 4 times out of 7. I could see him not being down 3-1 to the Warriors in 2016, so he wouldn't have even had to come back from 3-1 to win that series. So maybe with Kyrie and Love, Michael Jordan could beat the Warriors, maybe. But he ain't beating the Warriors with Kevin Durant in 2017 or 18. Not happening. Not with the team LeBron was working with. Does he even get to the title with the 18 team because Kyrie was gone? Maybe. But if he gets there, he's not beating the Warriors yet again. So it's hard to say, but if you interchange these two guys, I don't know what much changes. Mike might lead the league in scoring more than LeBron did because he was a scorer. LeBron, if he was in the 90s, the things he'd have done from an all-around standpoint, maybe he'd have got a little more credit for his defense back then because he'd have been able to be a little more physical. Who knows? But my point is, these two guys are pretty similar. And with this squad right here, he's getting 3. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, at the Vault JMU414 on X, and TikTok as well. Holla at you.